United have just sent out a statement saying that UEFA have fined them for breaking financial fair play rules.
€300,000 fine.
So yeah, that's another statement. I received a pretty innocuous statement on Mason Mount dodging professional autograph hunters. I can just read you out both statements here, can't I?
It's breaking news as it happens.
The club sent from United says, well disappointed by the outcome, Manchester United accepts this fine for what UEFA acknowledges to be a minor technical breach of its previous financial fair play rules. This reflected a change in the way that UEFA adjusted for COVID-19 losses during the 2022 reporting period, which allowed us to recognise only €50 million of the €281 million of revenues lost due to the pandemic within the FFP calculation. Post-pandemic, the club's revenues have recovered strongly and are forecast to reach a record level in the current financial year. The club continues to support the enforcement of rules to promote financial fair play and sustainability across domestic and European football. There's a little bit more to that as well. From United's point of view, they feel an element of disappointment at the lack of flexibility shown by UEFA in their treatment of a unique set of circumstances, but ultimately accept that they did make a technical breach. I mean, I think for people listening to this, it can't be particularly engaging, but I suppose it shows you how things have changed yesteryear. The only Manchester club that were ever going to be in breach of FFP was City, but the goalposts have shifted now with the rules redrafted. The Premier League's sustainability and profitability rules have come into it, and you've got United, mentioning FFP. It feels like whenever I have a conversation with anyone at the club about transfers, because they have to be mindful of that, where they've had such a poor history in the sellers market. They have to be a lot more careful in terms of how much they spend on incomings, whilst historically anyway, they've not brought a lot of money in for outgoings.
Ty, have you got anything to add to that? I know you did a decent piece on financial fair play. Was it earlier in the week? I don't know if you want to add anything before we go to the next part.
Possibly. All the weeks blend into one at this time of year. But I mean, we've heard, like Samuel said, the club seem to mention it constantly that they're sailing close to the wind by FFP, and they have said again today that the new FFP rules, should be said that this fine is for historical issues. I think it's 2019 to 2022 maybe, and it's basically not breaking even. That COVID's affected a lot by that. So this is an historical issue rather than the current FFP concerns that they're talking about in the transfer window. And UEFA have actually changed the FFP rules, so this is the last time these rules will ever be in act, basically. So United have failed on these rules, but it's the new rules that they're concerned about in terms of the transfer window and spending. And they're part of those rules are this 70%, well, it's going to 70%, I think it's 90, 80, then 70% by 2025 of 70% of revenue on transfers and wages and things like that, which United seem pretty well set for. I mean, the last accounts, they had 50% wages to turnover, and that was down from 67%, basically because Ronaldo had left. So it was, they were in a good position by that. It's not clear how these rules really affect them. I mean, the people I've spoken to are unclear why United would be particularly worried about FFP, but they're not alone on that going forward. And they have said again today that, the constraints, the new UEFA rules are a constraint on what they and what other clubs can do in the transfer window, basically. And we know United have mentioned it a lot. We believe this budget's around £120 million net spend this summer, so they've got to sell players. Part of it is maybe a message to other clubs that we've got FFP issues, we can't pay 60 million for Onana and €100 million for Rasmus Højlund, but there's clearly some concern there about these FFP rules.
Listen to the full Manchester is Red podcast on your preferred podcast platform now. No one covers Manchester United quite like the Manchester Evening News, and with our Pro app, you can experience our coverage ad-free, pop-up free and distraction-free for the low price of $2.99 a month or $19.99 for an entire year. But what do you get? The most comprehensive 24-hour coverage of Manchester United, including on-scene, insight and exclusives from our dedicated team of writers, including our chief Man United writer, Samuel Luckhurst. We will keep you in the know about any news coming out of Old Trafford, including takeovers, transfers and exclusives only available on our app. Download the app today through the link below. and have your first month completely free of charge on us.